My name is Mats Uldal. I'm from Norway. I'm an entrepreneur in the business of helping people with psychological issues. I'm doing something called simplified thought field therapy, which is therapy that can be taught very easily to any person, and that makes it possible to take away irrational feelings or irrational intensity of feelings very quickly using a system which is already inside your body. For 20 years I was a specialist in mental training in sports, and I really was into the psychology part and the positive psychology, and I thought that was what it was all about. And then one night 16 years ago, on one really night at 1:30 in the night, I was reading what I thought was a really stupid ad in Psychology Today, the magazine for psychology, and it said the 5-minute phobia cure. And I thought, that is stupid. 5 minutes. Everybody who knows anything about psychology knows that is not possible. Then I started reading it, and I'm very happy today that I did that. And halfway down in the dull-looking ad with no pictures, I suddenly thought, wow, this isn't so stupid. It's quite logical. What if half of it is true? Then it will be a revolution in sports psychology. And then I thought, how can I be aware, or how can I find out if half of it is true? Then I looked at the bottom and said California, and there was a telephone number, and then I thought, California, that's 9 hours behind the Norwegian time, so maybe somebody is still at the office. Then I phoned them. It was before the mobile phone time, so I had to reach over the bed, I remember. I took the phone and I called them. And then after 3 rings, a man took the telephone, and that happened to be Dr. Roger Callahan, who has developed this thought field therapy method. And he was happy that someone called from the other side of the globe, which it actually is, to talk about his baby. And 1 hour afterwards, I put the phone down thinking either he was a very good salesperson or there is something into it, because I had bought everything that he had of books and not DVDs at that time, VHS, cassettes and so on. And after 2-3 weeks I was able to get hold of these through the mail, and then I started reading about it every single hour where it was possible to do it for, let's say, 3 weeks. And then I was at the other side where I lived, of the town of Oslo. I met a nice girl, I remember, and she told me during the hours there that she hadn't been driving a car for the last 10 years because of anxiety. And I thought, oh, that was strange. I have never had anxiety myself, so I didn't know much about that. And then I asked her if she were willing to try some techniques I have read about, and she was willing to do that. We sat on our chairs in the kitchen. And 8 minutes after I started, she said, now I think I can drive. You know, now? Really now? Yes? Okay. I'm going to the railway station and going back to my place at the other side of the town. Do you think you could drive me there? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's try. And we went out to the car, and she said, oh, you mustn't force me to drive on a highway. I said, oh no, I won't force you to anything. Just do what you feel like. She sat in, she started driving, and when we were close to the highway, she just turned in and said, I want to drive. Okay, I said, and I was wondering what's happening. And then she drove me perfectly to the railway station. I went to my apartment, and the next day I had a reason to call this nice lady. And I asked her, how did it go when the guru was not there? Oh, she had no problems driving herself. And this actually became my wife for 15 years. So this is techniques that you also can use in daily life to meet someone and maybe take down their feelings if they don't want to meet you. So this is a nice story. This is how it all started. I think most people know that every day we know that we shouldn't be eating stuff, drinking stuff, we shouldn't be doing stuff, but we still do it. So we do the opposite of what we actually know we should perfectly be doing every day. So so-called irrational feelings like phobias, you are afraid of something that you know is not dangerous, or irrational intensity of feelings. It can be a rational reason for being anxious, but the intensity a lot of years after it happened, is too intense. So whenever an entrepreneur meets a challenge and he feels, or she, maybe that, oh, I need to talk about my things in front of a lot of people, but I'm so scared about the thought. That's actually the world's biggest phobia, fear of public speaking. And most people have felt that fear in the stomach only by sitting in a U form and saying their name and where they come from. It could be scary, even if it's not obviously dangerous. So that kind of feeling, these new techniques, we are tapping into them, we are touching points on the body. It's instead of acupuncture, where you punctuate the body with needles, or acupressure, you hold the same. Here it's tapping. And when we tap certain points at the same moment as we feel the bad feeling, then the body starts to take down the intensity quickly. Absolutely. Most people would recognize that feeling of insecurity. Will I be able to financially manage this? Will I be able to do the right things? Will there be enough customers? All these things that we are not sure of. But the feeling can be really so strong that it's stopping us for even trying. And that is not good. So you have to feel how bad is it from 0 to 10. The sheer thought of starting. And if you find what thought is stopping you and giving that feeling, then we directly think about where in the body do that feeling appear. So if you feel it in the stomach, then it's the best thing to really look detailed on it. So try to find out what shape does it feel like. What color would I give it if I had to give it a color? So the more details, the quicker the body will take down the intensity of the feeling. Okay, now I'm gonna show you easily how you can do 2 different points of tapping while you are thinking about how difficult it is to start up, or how bad you feel thinking about the startup. If you find a feeling, then you ask yourself from 0 to 10, how strong is this feeling? 10 is the worst I have ever felt about that thought. Let's say an 8. It's an 8. Then I start tapping here. Start between the knuckles, between the little and ring finger. Go 1 centimeter down. Place 2 fingers in here and tap. While you are concentrating on the actual feeling in the body. So if I feel afraid, okay, I feel the afraid here. I feel it's round, it's red, it's hard, it's heavy, it's warm. All of those details I'm now thinking about, and I'm tapping here 50 times or more. Just concentrating on the feeling. If some of these details start changing, then you are getting better. The more of them changes, the better you become. When we have tapped here 50 times or more, we tap the end point on every sequence that we ever do. We always stop here as the end point. From the throat, 3 fingertips down 45 degrees, and you are just underneath your collarbone. Just underneath your collarbone. Tap here 10 to 15 times. Thinking about the bad feeling in the stomach. And then I start again, 50 times or more. Feeling how bad it is when I think of starting my business. And then suddenly more details will change normally. And then I do this. And I just continue changing between these 2. This is the simplest way of taking down tension, who is unnecessary high in the body, whatever you're thinking about. And the question will then normally be, when do I do this? Or do I do it myself? Or does it have to be another one who does it to me? No, this you can do yourself. obviously it's easy and more easy the first time to have a specialist to show you how to do it and to help you with really think at the actual feeling as concentrated and detailed as possible. When you do that, if you're able to do that, then the results will come for a lot of people. Approximately 90% of all people will, within seconds or minutes, feel a much lower intensity of the feeling if you do these 2 points at the right moment when you actually feel the feeling. What is the most common is, among other things, headaches that comes from stress. Stress is tension that the body gives on according to what happens in your life. And if you have a lot of things that happening, maybe you have a lot of time problem and you have deadlines that maybe you don't manage to reach and so on, then the body will tense up and then the muscles will take down the blood vessels, then less blood will come through the system, then less oxygen will come to the muscle, and the muscle will easily start to make lactic acid or milk acid, which hurts. So what these techniques really does is that it takes down quicker than anything else the tension in the body that comes from stressful situations. I have worked with, let's say, two different kinds. One of those was a director in a large company. He was not an entrepreneur, but that is the same with entrepreneurs. And he couldn't sleep well. And he wondered what to do about that. And then I had to ask him different kind of questions. What is the worst if you don't sleep tonight? Then I will be very tired tomorrow. And what will happen then if you are tired? Then I will not do my work properly. And what could happen then? Then my management maybe are not thinking that I do a good job. And what could happen then? Then I would lose my job. And what would then possibly happen? Then I would earn less money, and then my family would suffer, and maybe my wife would go and take her children with her. And then I would be a social client, and then I would look for bottles and to earn money any way I can. And then suddenly he started to cry, and I asked, what do you cry about? He was afraid that his two daughters would lose the respect for him. Then we started tapping. And after a short while, he started laughing. And I said, what do you laugh about? Is it anything to laugh about? Thinking about the possibility that your daughters lose your respect? Yeah, but I know they will not do that. They love me. Anyway, even if I don't have a lot of money. And I also now am sure that I know so much things, I will get a new job immediately if something happened. And I'm now sure that I will be able to sleep. Why is that? Because I'm not afraid anymore that this will happen. So he went home and he slept all night, and he phoned me the day after and everything was okay. That's one typical thing. Another thing is that people might go to new jobs, or if they are doing a certain entrepreneurial aspect, they will have to fly more than usual. And if they suddenly get fear of flying, then they are not able to do it. And they have a very stressful time before every time they need to fly. And the fear gets worse and worse, and then it totally stops. So we need to take away the irrational feeling that it's dangerous for them to fly. And we can do that very easily and much quicker than normal psychology with these simple techniques. First of all, it's all in the heart. I have been for 20 years a specialist in how to manage your thoughts, to do something with your feelings if you had a problem. And now I'm much more sure that the heart decides much more of how we feel than we formerly have thought. So obviously all of you that see this, you would not like your partner to come home, look you into the eyes and say, I love you of all my brain. Everybody knows it has something to do with the heart. And new science also shows that the heart has 40,000 more neural connections to the brain than the opposite way. So it means you have to find something you are passionate about and you have to do that thing. If you feel insecure, learn these techniques or similar techniques to take away the irrational fear, and you can go in that direction which your heart tells you to do, and then you will do or be at your best.